Working in vet means understanding the landscape. Who's who in the zoo, so to speak. Firstly, let's just recognise that this is a changing landscape, and what is true today might not be true next month or next year. The main reason is that the sector is directed by a number of different bodies, many of whom are federal or state and territory governments, and as such, departments and figureheads will change with the electoral cycles. Additionally, we have agencies in charge of administering the vet regulations that are dependent on funding, government directives and sector influence. Therefore, many changes are experienced under the guise of improvement over time. So with all that in mind, let's look at the current landscape. The Department of Employment and Workplace Relations is the current federal department responsible for the vet sector. Its role is to work actively to fill skills gaps to support Australia's economic growth by identifying industries with those skills shortages. This includes emerging industries fundamental to the prosperity of individuals, businesses, and the whole nation. They provide support to a world-leading vocational education and training sector, offering everything from apprenticeships, cadetships, and traineeships to helping address future skills demands. And they're responsible for the independent training package assurance function to ensure training products meet national standards. Also at the national level, we have the NCVER. The National Centre for Vocational Education Research is a professional body responsible for collecting, managing, analysing and communicating research and statistics on the Australian vet sector. Its areas of activity include undertaking a strategic program of education and training research, including the collection and analysis of national vet statistics. Also, collecting and publishing research findings on vet and directly related research from across the world through the VocEd Plus research database. Also, they maintain the standards applied for all RTOs to report enrolments and outcomes. This is called the Australian Vocational Education and Training Management Information Statistical Standards, or AVETMIS. It is a national data standard which ensures the consistency and accuracy of vocational education and training. Keeping at the national level, we now look towards the national training package developers. These used to be the industry reference committees, but this mantle has now been handed to the Jobs and Skills Councils. They work with industry to develop relevant training packages that are nationally endorsed and published on training.gov.au for RTOs to access. You can find the JSC relevant to your sector by conducting a simple internet search, or in the near future, by following the link from the training package in training.gov.au. In 2022, Jobs and Skills Australia was appointed under a federal act of parliament to act as an independent agency for providing advice to the government to underpin Australia's response to current, emerging and future labour market and workforce skills and training needs. JSA will help the Australian government improve employment opportunities and economic growth. They are comprised of specialists such as economists, data scientists, analysts, researchers, product developers and designers, and project managers who work with stakeholders to provide that expert advice. At both the national and state levels, we have the vet regulators. The regulators are responsible for ensuring that RTOs are consistently applying the national quality standards that apply to vet and training packages that they deliver. They conduct performance assessments, formerly audits, of RTOs and provide best practice regulation to ensure a high standard of quality so that students, employers, governments, and the community have confidence in the integrity of national qualifications issued by training providers. At the state level, we have the state and territory training authorities. These are the government departments responsible for helping residents of their jurisdiction gain access to training providers through various services and funding programs. At the industry level, we have vet peak bodies, networks and communities of practice. As these range from not-for-profits to large commercial entities, we'll not cover individual organisations here, but suffice to say there are a number of high-quality providers of vet professional services and development for professionals in the sector. They offer everything from consulting services and online PD programs through to large national conferences. So I hope this has provided you a good overview of the current state of play in the sector.
Some areas to keep your eyes on include the release of the revised standards for RTOs that are in effect from July 2025.
Suggested updates to the national data provisions that could see RTOs no longer have to provide VetMIS data, but rather have the data linked to a government agency, and a call to review the layout and use of training packages and competency standards that could lead to very different looking training products. Until then, keep learning.